Hey guys, Ningen here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and today, as you can see from the title, we are doing something a little bit special. This is a love letter to all my fellow global mains. We are showing off the global exclusive Realm of Gods team. We are using the, well, I mean, you can see them both here on this first rotation, although unfortunately we do need to float off Rose, but we are using the LR Ultra Instinct Goku and the AGL Rose fully EZA'd on our Realm of Gods team. This team currently only able to be run on global. Obviously JP are getting the EZA for Rose within the next week or so, and then let's be fair, UI Goku is probably going to come out as part of the part 2 of the Kefla celebration that's on JP at the moment, but as of right now only global players can run this team. So this team is very fun. It's one of the things I really like about it is I have made a change to one of the rotations that I would normally run, and it actually turns out to be quite a lot of fun. So both the AGL Rose and the AGL Zamasu benefit massively from running the Tech EZA Merge Zamasu. Because he gives a huge defensive buff to Extreme Realm of Gods allies, so that really shores up some of the issues with like the Zamasu not having the best defense to go along with his damage reduction. And then of course AGL Rose can build up to ridiculous amounts of defense anyway, so having Tech Zamasu and him as a rotation, Rose can function as the tank and absorb all the damage, and then Merge Zamasu can just put out a bunch of damage. So of course Weskai gets super attack, literally the worst unit on the team. She's here because she provides that 40% attack and defense buff, but unfortunately compared to like Supreme Kai of Time, who greatly raises her own defense and therefore can actually take a hit, Weskai is really bad defensively. Now, she is only a level 100 UR, she does not have a Dokkan Awakening, so hopefully once they give her an Awakening, they'll actually give her something to make her a little bit better defensively. And then she'll be a much better like pick for the team. But I just wanted to bring her because she is another 40% attack support unit. I recommend if you are trying out or like trying to get through some of the harder events, it's probably better to run Gowasu and Zamasu if you can, because obviously they provide a huge defensive buff to everybody, so that would be much more beneficial overall. Because if we get to a point where Weskai has to take a whole bunch of attacks, like she just takes so much damage. So, but anyway, we're gonna get physical Vegito Blue over onto the rotation with UI Goku, and we're going to have AGL Rose and AGL Zamasu together. And yeah, I completely lost my train of thought by talking about Weskai, but one of the things about this rotation that I really like now is that most of the time in these long events, I would not transform Zamasu until really close to the end, because I want to take advantage of the fact that he has all of that damage mitigation. This is a really horrible rotation because I want to do this, but I don't really want Weskai taking all the hits. Plus we want to build up Rose's passive like as quickly as possible, so I might actually do this, crazy though it may seem. We do have to float Rose back around afterwards, but I mean he gets the potential to take all of these hits here and build up his passive, which ideally is what we want. We do want to try and max out his passive as quickly as we can. So it's a bit unfortunate. Obviously, again, if you're doing like some of these longer form events and you actually are trying to complete them maybe for like the first time, you might not want to do things like rotating off one of the best units, but like I said, we want to build up his passive real quick, and so I'm going to go ahead and let him take all of those hits. So what this means, as I was starting to say, I keep getting super sidetracked, I feel like my brain is melting, but the Goku Black Rose, once he gets a bunch of hits and he builds up his passive, he becomes such a ridiculously good tank that it means we can transform the AGL Zamasu, which means he'll lose a whole load of his damage mitigation, but becomes way more hard hitting. And then Rose will be able to be the unit on the rotation who is tanking all the hits. And then Zamasu can just go ahead and deal a ton of damage in his transformed state. So that's the thing, there is a lot of RNG related on the team, as well as the fact that a lot of the units require like being hit or at least being attacked, because obviously UI Goku builds up his passive by dodging. So because there was only an attack in the second slot there, it didn't really matter who I put in the first slot. we were going to miss out on getting a build for UI Goku's passive. Because if I put UI Goku in the first slot, he or Vegito Blue going second would have just killed. So I guess in a way it's good, but like there is a lot more technical things now in running this team. Like there's a lot of things to take into account when it comes to how to build up the certain units passives, certain things you want to be doing, like certain placements of units on rotation and stuff like that. So that does make it a little bit more interesting, rather than just put anyone anywhere and tap the key orbs and then they do a ridiculous amount of damage. So I've been having a lot of fun with this team. And like I said, hey, it's global exclusive, so, you know, that's what I like to see. Because I didn't make a video about it, I did mention it on Twitter, but I saw a lot of people being a bit mad that Rose and then potentially UI Goku are coming out on JP so soon after coming out on global. But for me, I don't understand that. Like, the fact that they're global first is what makes it hype. Like, I said this on Twitter, even if a global first came out on JP like a day later, it still came out on global first, and that's where the hype is for me as a global main. I don't care how long it takes for JP to get something. The thing that makes it hype is the fact that we got it first. So yeah, so now we have to float Rose off again to get him back onto the other rotation. We are going to win here, so he's not going to get another hit, unfortunately. But at least that's going to get him round onto the rotation where we want him. We've already transformed Zamasu, so then they're going to go together very well. And then, yeah, 17's just going to kill himself by throwing normal attacks at physical Vegito Blue, which is always a bad idea. And we can go straight on to the next rotation. I mean, we keep getting these rotations with the support units as well. So Zamasu, as I was saying before, even though he has damage mitigation, his defense isn't that great. But having a support unit on the rotation with him obviously makes his defense way better, and that damage mitigation does quite a lot more work. So yeah, now we're not really taking any damage here from the 16. We can get a 2 million attack stat. Obviously they link super well together when the other one is transformed. So with the support unit on the rotation, oh, additional super, good, extra damage from that. With the Supreme Opie of Time on the rotation, the transformed AGL Zamasu is going to have a pretty nice attack stat this turn. The friend I bought has 2 dupes, so yeah, 3.3 million attack stat, very, very good. And then bear in mind, of course, the fact that AGL Rose also gives extreme class allies 30% attack with his passive. So once we have them back set on rotation together, when we have one of the 40% support units in the rotation, that Zamasu is easily going to be over a 4 million attack stat once transformed. So that's going to be incredibly good. Oh, they have godly power. We should do that then. Yeah, we should definitely do that. Get a much higher attack stat for UI Goku. Go ahead and do this, and then give you this. Oh, we're going to get the Dokkan attack here as well, so it's going to be GG16. He's going to take a counter to the face, and then we're going to get the Dokkan attack and finish him off here. So let's do this. Decent speed, so the emulator won't mess me up with the mouse. And then let's go. So 2 million attack stat on Vegito Blue. Obviously Vegito Blue is a unit who's designed to deal damage by putting out multiple attacks and counters, so he's never going to hit as hard as other units will with one single attack. But I mean, hey, a Dokkan attack with type advantage and a crit, we'll take a 5 million damage Dokkan attack. So now we can finally get our rotation the way that we want it. So what is Rose's defense now? 89k. So his passive definitely isn't fully built up. He does greatly raise his defense when he super attacks as well. So I think once we get this super off here, he shouldn't really take any damage. And then of course bear in mind that the AGL Rose and the AGL Zamasu do also have big bad bosses. So if at any point we take a huge amount of damage, that's going to activate. See, how much will this do? We greatly raised our defense. Yeah, 100k. 100k is not terrible. And then yeah, 3.2 on this Zamasu now with, I say no support unit. Obviously Rose is giving that 30% support. But as I said before, when we see one of the 40% support units float onto this rotation, yeah, he should break a 4 million attack stat fairly easily, I think. And then AGL Rose is also able to put out some pretty high numbers when you consider they didn't change any part of his passive that was attack related. he still only gets 100% attack. Of course, he does also get the 30% from his passive, so that does help as well. But having a 40% support unit on rotation, like those two are going to hit some crazy high numbers. And then even UI Goku, now as he starts to build up his passive, yeah, 3.2 million attack stat. My UI Goku has no dupes. So that is a 55% LR UI Goku hitting attack stats like that thanks to the support from Supreme Kai of Time. And then, yeah, Vegito Blue's just going to come in and finish off the cell here. So very, very good. Now, I'm not super thrilled about the idea of putting West Kai in front of a whole bunch of attacks. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and use this. Because obviously, now that the Zamasu is transformed and takes more damage, he's a little bit more of a liability. But I'm going to let Rose go in the first slot. With the item active and the fact that taking hits is what raises his defense, hopefully his passive will be maxed out. Of course, we take a super attack first. Yeah, see, his defense is still going up, 70k. Okay, now his passive is maxed because the little defense up icon didn't come up. So 2.7 million attack stat for him is pretty good. I think Big Bad Bosses, yeah, is not active, so that's why it's 2.7. So Big Bad Bosses is going to be at what, like 3.2, 3.3 maybe? Which is pretty good for, obviously he got an EZA, but like for how old he is, how good he is defensively, and the fact that he gives all the other extreme allies extra attack and 3 key, which obviously, you know, literally with these two, because they share such good links anyway, it means we are just auto supering because they both start the turn with 12 key already. So very, very strong rotation running them together. I can't get the 18 key super for you, but that's fine. And then we'll grab those for you, and then those for you. So I'll wait till the next turn. I want to see what defense Rose is on now that his passive is actually fully activated. And then we'll probably end it there. I don't want the video to be too long, and we don't need to get all the way through this event, because I'm sure we've all seen the androids stage many times. This UI Goku not dodging, look at that, 3 times no dodge. So that is one thing that you really do have to consider. Like, people are still, even now on Twitter and stuff, discussing whether UI Goku is better than the fusions from the 5-year. And I think one of the big factors is it comes down to the potential for how good he can be. Because if you get a bunch of attacks on him in the first couple of turns and he dodges all of them, once his passive is fully maxed out, he's crazy, right? He can hit really high attack stats. I've seen him hit over 5 million attack stat with no dupes. Once his passive is fully maxed. So if you get a whole bunch of attacks coming your way in the first couple of turns, you can max his passive like literally in the first couple of turns. So Rose's at 200,000 defense thanks to the support from West Kai, so that's pretty crazy. We'll go ahead and use this, and then we should easily finish him off this turn. I kind of don't want Rose to kill him because I want to see the attack stat of Merge Zamasu, but I have a feeling that we probably will. Let's see. Maybe if we don't get a crit. Yeah, 2.75. I mean, that's pretty high. If we don't get a crit, we won't finish him off, I think. Okay, good. No crit. So I want to see, yeah, double digits. And then what's Zamasu going to get to? Yeah, 3.5 on the attack stat. Very good. And that's, like I say, the Big Bad Bosses is still not active. So Big Bad Bosses active would easily push that man over a 4 million attack stat. So very, very good, especially when you consider that mine doesn't have a lot of dupes. I think the friend one had 2. So Rainbow, very good. I'm very much looking forward to the Vegito banner, so I can hopefully get more copies of Zamasu and Trunks, because my Trunks only has 1 dupe as well. So I would really like to see more copies of them come my way. Come on, Goku. Really? Wow, Goku really hasn't been dodging, has he, huh, in this run? He's, I'm trying to show off, like, you know, the global... Oh, there you go, yeah, of course, dodge the normal attacks, but we're trying to show off the power of this global exclusive team. Okay, well, I mean, he makes up for a little bit with a 3.5 million attack stat with no dupes, so there you go. But yeah, so this is the global exclusive Realm of Gods team. JP players, you will be able to run this team sometime in the next few weeks, if UI Goku does indeed come out for part 2 of the current celebration on JP. I feel like he will, because it's obviously Tournament of Power related, but you never know. And look at Vegito Blue popping off, getting that extra additional, and it's a super attack. Can we get crit counters as well to seal the deal? I mean, 650,000 damage without a crit is still nice for a counter. And then one... So basically he did almost 2 million damage just for free with his counter attacks. So yeah, this team is a whole lot of fun. It is global exclusive. So yeah, very, very cool. Let me know what you guys think of the team down below. It's a very interesting build. Definitely hoping that the Weskai gets a awakening at some point, and that will just make this team even stronger. But there you go, global mains represent the global exclusive Realm of Gods team. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. You can follow me on Twitch or join my Discord. The link is in the description below. And I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.